Okay. Great to see you all. So this week is the last week on the People Figures project. So this is some of the demos that I've done. First week was looking at heads and torsos, and the second week I demonstrated drawing whole figures. And then last week was moving into total value, so I could really just concentrate on the head, but it could be a figure if you wanted. I think today I'm going to add a little bit of colour, so I'll do a little bit in colour, so I'll do that in a minute. But I also want to just talk a little bit about our next project. So, as I say, this is the end of this one. Next month's project is kind of loosely based around the master artists. So it could be something like copying from one of the masters, and it could be any master. I've got a few different books. So this one is all to do with techniques. So it's both old masters and modern masters. Goes right up to the 20th century. So there's all sorts of ideas. So that you might want to look at a particular painting, sort of investigate a particular painting, maybe do a little bit of either drawing or painting from it, a painted copy. So that's one way you could work it. Another interpretation would be to maybe have a look at somebody's work that you really like their style, and maybe do some sort of painting but referencing their style. So say you're particularly interested in, this is like a Fauvist painting, you might want to use something, bright and breezy colours, big brush marks, just for instance, or you might want to do something, something a little bit more abstract. Yeah, so that's another way you could interpret it. Another thing would be to do, maybe pick a painting and do kind of use that as maybe a starting point. So it might be you pick something like that, but maybe create, I don't know, it's just right, no, not that one. Okay, find something else. You could use these colours, or that sort of thing, or do some sort of different interpretation.
Holding a mask, isn't it?
He cut his ear off.
No,
you need to really into it. So anyway, there's lots of different options. Okay, so the most straightforward would be some sort of copying. So pick something and copy it. So with the demonstrations that I'll do at the beginning of the session, so I'll probably start off with some sort of copying, but I'm really going to take my lead from you and what you are interested in, what you'd like to learn about, what you'd like to find out about, what you'd like me to talk about. In terms of references, do go out and find, if you've got any books or anything like that, art books, or go to the library, get stuff out of the library. I've got these cards. I've got various ones. Now these I've got given, so these are educational cards. I think they're really. I used to had an art teacher in one of the classes, and she'd retired, and she gave me all these, and they're really, really quite nice. So there's like the image, and then a bit of information on the back. Now with these, I've only got like one copy of each. So you're welcome to use these, but if there's like more than one of you, I'll need to know. Then I'll then make a copy of it for you. I can sort of scan it on the computer and print it out. So if you wanted to look through any of these, either today or next week or the week after, it doesn't really matter. But I'll need to know if you want a copy or not. If say there's only one person who wants to use that one in all the 4 groups that I've got, then you can borrow that one. But if there's like 5 people want this one, I'll need to make some copies. So if that is the case, and you find something you like the look of, just put a little sticky note on and just write your name on. And then if I've got a few names added to it, I'll know I need to copy it. Okay, so you're welcome to look through, but if you could give them back at the end of this session, and then if needs be, we can make copies. So once the first week's over and everybody's seen them, then I'll know. Okay, so that's that. Right, okay, so on to this. So I thought in terms of colour, I'll pretty much use the drawing mediums, and I thought, well, I'll stick with pastels this week, and the next project will be quite a lot of painting, and I'll probably use my oils for that one, because most of the old masters, and the modern masters, oil paint is the dominant medium really. Which isn't to say you've got to use oil paint, you can use whatever you want. Right, so let's find my image. So this was, I've got to use this one of my son when he was a bit younger. So with pastels, I always find it a little bit tricky finding the colours because so it's a good idea to just have somewhere to try them out. So I'll put a little bit there, and then you can see how they come out on the paper. So I'm thinking like these flesh tones. To me, they've got a slightly warmish yellow brown, and I tend to approach pastels a bit like I would approach an oil painting. I generally go dark to light, but if there is something very, very light or very brightly coloured, I might do that bit first. So sometimes I do, you know, say that it was like this. I can't really see these shorts though, but if it's like the pink shorts, I don't want too much black and dark colours around that. Otherwise, it will soon get contaminated. So if I was getting that farther down, it might be that I start with some of these lighter colours. And I find with the pastels, they do get quite grubby. So if it's particularly a light colour, you want to keep them clean with a bit of tissue or a bit of rag, just so that if there's any dirt on the pastel, you're not transferring that straight onto the picture. So I obviously need to go a bit lighter. So basically, in terms of mixing, the mixing happens on the paper really. It seems like a lot of colours. I think there's 64 colours there, but in actual fact, it's next to nothing. And when you come to it, you'll find that it's really quite a challenge to get naturalistic colours. Quite nice if you want to go bright and breezy and, you know, really, really bright colours, but not quite so easy if you want to go naturalistic. So I'll probably start something like that. There's some shadows around his eyes, perhaps go, as I say, I'm tempted to go a little bit darker rather than lighter, and I'll, you know, lose some of that there, and then perhaps work some of that in. The shadow on the other side of his face. So again, I just want to go a little bit dark around there. And then I'll probably try and lighten up, find some lighter colours that are a little bit more like flesh tones. So that's one. That's that one. That was that one. That one's actually lighter in there, so that's the lighter one. And then probably go lighter still. This sort of peachy colour might be quite good. Mix some of that in. And I'm going to use one of these paper blenders. This one's got a bit grubby. Just try and clean it up a little bit. Just to try and merge that in. What I usually try and do with these is keep one or two for lighter colours and then have others for darker colours. You'll find that you might just need to do a bit of work to get the pastel into the grain of the paper. Otherwise you get this very sort of almost like grainy, pixelated look. So that's almost like my undercoat. And then I can then go in with a little bit more definition. So far I've just used these little chunky pastels, but when it comes to details, you might find that you want to then transfer over to pastel pencils. So I've got a couple of pastel pencils here. So these are good for just getting in the little details, because you've got a very definite end to them. Get some of the and that can come back here. little bit of shadow back under here. So it's going backwards and forwards a little bit. A bit of it's probably a bit too dark. It's got in a little bit lighter. So it's quite a lot of overdrawing. So one and then the other. It's got a bit too dark. If things get too, if you go wrong, if I tend to use these little mechanical rubbers, or sometimes start with a brush and just brush out off the excess. That's a bit better. Just take a bit of that out. A bit softer. And then just a few lights, a few highlights. A bit like that. That's a little bit highlighting into the flesh tones here and there. Highlight up there. Start that. So, yeah, something along those lines. Is that okay? You look worried.
I'm not using pastels, that's fine.
Sorry?
I'm not using pastels.
No, well, that's all right. It's just a suggestion. So what I'm aiming to do, like throughout the year, is just cover all the mediums.
Yeah.
So pastel
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
You won't see it again for a month, at least. Okay. So if anybody does want to use pastel, I know one or two uses pastels. One or two got pastels.
Yeah.